Hello everyone. Welcome to another insightful episode of Exported series where I bring you insights from the most inspiring and accomplished professionals regarding personal and professional transformation. Today, I have the immense honor of hosting Deepti Thakkar, who is a youth empowerment coach, a parenting coach, career counselor. She is specialized in working with teenagers and young adults to help them navigate various challenges, develop life skills, and help them achieve personal and academic goals. So, welcome Deepti to my show.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Yes, before we start the conversation, can you just give a brief introduction about yourself? What inspired you to get into this journey of inspiring youth and everything?
Okay, sure. So I am, if you look at my education profile, I'm an engineer by education. I have worked in the technology industry for more than 15 years. And then I had taken some time off to spend quality time with my children because it was becoming too hectic to manage demanding role in the technology as well as the home front. So that's the time I spend some time understanding the needs, how the children grow, and what are the various challenges that parents face.
Mhm.
So, a couple of things prompted me to change my career line. One thing is, I have been there, done that. I have been a working professional where, and in a home where both parents are really busy in a nuclear family. So, kids finding a common time just to have a conversation becomes a challenge, and then there is a friction between children and parents. So that was one thing that I have gone through. Obviously, two of my kids are teenagers, so I have gone through that phase of parenting as well. So what I realized is I can use my experience to help other parents or other teenagers to find solutions that we already worked in our household. And so far, I have seen incredible results of some of the tips and techniques that I have provided. So I'm very happy to see positive changes as well. And that's the reason I'm continuing this journey.
Wow, that's incredible. So, Deepti, as you are in a profession of guiding them in developing important life skills such as communication, decision making, and problem solving, so my question to you is what is the biggest challenge that you see teenagers facing today, and how do you help them overcome it?
See, the world has changed quite a bit, mainly because of technology, and children have a lot of information available at their fingertips. Every aspect, you take career, you take subjects, you take what to wear, how to look, anything and everything, they have a lot of choices. And that's why decision making is becoming more and more chaotic. So, in my opinion, if we can equip teenagers or young adults with decision making skills, like how do you start from gathering information to make an informed choice, I think they will be able to tackle everything else independently and successfully as well. So through my coaching program is Confusion to Clarity, where I completely focus on decision making. First, I give them steps how do they can proceed once they have a problem statement or a issue in hand, how they can take it from uh, mm, understanding it to making their own decision. And along with this, we work on communication as well as building self confidence. And I feel everything else gets addressed once the decision making is addressed.
Yes, that's so true. So, as you rightly said, the parents find it difficult to communicate with their teenagers. So, can you share a simple tip for parents to better communicate with their teenagers without creating a friction?
Um, so simple tip will be guide, don't advise.
Mm-hmm.
So once we get into the advising mode, then children typically tend to ignore or shut down completely. So I just feel that our job is to share our experience consequences and our inputs, and leaving the final call to the teenager. And I know it takes a lot of practice because advising is our natural tendency, but with practice you can do that, and that really works very well with today's generation.
Mhm. And it is said that Deepti, that children learn by looking at you, what you are doing, your actions, and everything. So, advising something and you yourself not following that doesn't really work. Isn't that so?
That is very true. They learn a lot more from observing you or any other adult, and they're very smart in figuring out what is working and what is not. So there is no point in giving some very ideological advice, which really is not. They haven't seen anybody demonstrate in actions.
Correct. So, what's one life skill you believe is crucial for teenagers to learn and why?
I am going to come back to decision making. I'll give you a simple example when it comes to peer pressure. Why do children give in to the peer pressure? Because they are confused, which is right, what is wrong, and what they should be doing. So, if their decision making is clear, then they can quickly figure out the consequences of their decision, and they won't be that quick to give in to the peer pressure. So, according to me, again, I know that I talk a lot about decision making skills in youth, but I strongly believe that's the core of their success or their failure, either way.
Yeah, that's so true, Deepti. And a lot of times I have seen children get into a mode of comparing themselves with others, kids of their age. He is doing so well in academics, I am not able to do. So there is something that is self-confidence. So what's your advice for teenagers struggling with self-confidence?
So, what everyone needs to understand that it's a process. Building self confidence is it happens with positive experiences that you have. Having said that, you cannot have all the positive experiences.
Yes.
There are going to be setbacks, there are going to be failures, but don't get disheartened. And because it is natural part of the progress or growth, and how you handle and what you learn from that setback is more important than giving up very easily. And second and most important thing is, don't try to make impression about other children's or peers life or success based on their social media profiles.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel having social media as an integral part of teenagers life, lot of things are drawn from who is posting pictures and who is sharing stories and things like that. That might or might not be the reality. Anyway, you have to figure out your own way, and it might take a little longer than some of your peers, but you will get there as long as you are consistently moving forward. And in this process, you will definitely build confidence to deal with whatever comes your way.
Yeah, that's so true, Dipti. That I got reminded of an important instance. So there was a couple who went to a place right outside their home, that is Uti or somewhere, and they had a big fight. She's one of my friends. They had a big fight, but this female was going to locations and posing and clicking the photograph of hers and putting it all across the social media. So people out there don't know the reality that something is going behind the camera, and they are just looking, wow, she got such an amazing life, such an amazing partner, such an amazing family she's enjoying. But at the back of her mind, she's sulking, she's sobbing, she's crying because there was a hard time. So that's very important, that we should not be referring to the pictures or images or social media profile of others rather than focusing on ourselves. So that's so true. Now, my next thing that I want you to highlight is, there are a lot of times when parents want to live their life through their children, be it career goals, primarily career goals. So someone was not able to become a doctor or an engineer or an astronaut, because of the economics at that point in time in their family. So they want to live that part of their life through their children. That is a sort of imposing their dreams on them. So I want to ask you and share this with the public, that how can parents support their child's career goals without being overbearing?
See, anytime we get into the parenting role, we have to understand and accept that the child is a different individual. The child has own interest and personalities, and not necessarily everything is going to match with ours. Um, and if we observe our children closely, I know that they give us clues about their interests and their strengths. Many times what happens is we want them to drive in a certain direction, and because of which we try to get them into the activity that are aligned with our dream of their life. Like, so I'll tell you one example in my own house, that um, two of my children, like one is completely a STEM background and very focused on that area. Left brain is what we refer to in psychology, and then the other one is another end of the spectrum. She's extremely creative, and any kind of art form, whether it is dance, painting, writing, uh, excels into it. So when we have to choose careers, or when we have to support their choices, we are aware that the career choices chosen by these two children in the same household, from the same parents, and everything upbringing is same, but they are going to be different because their personalities are naturally different. So our job is to I feel our job is to provide them the best possible support in terms of exposure, resources, and guidance, and then let them take the lead.
Mm-hmm. That's so true, Deepti. Thanks a lot for shedding light on this important aspect. And one thing that I have analyzed and saw in my vicinity, that most of the kids, when they are entering into age of 8, 9, 10, 11, so they get into mobile or tablet or computer or laptop, and they are so much addicted to it, in the sense they have been on that particular game for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours in a day. And if you happen to get them engaged in other activities, they tend to restrict to that. No, I am gonna do this, I will do this, mama is asking me to do, mama is busy, dad is busy. So what do you think, what role does technology play in youth empowerment in today's date?
So if you look at it from empowerment perspective, I think technology has played a significant positive role. Children are aware of a lot of social issues, social cause, and what all is going around the world, and they have formed their opinions based on what they read, what they see, and they also take courses. So technology has enabled them to learn faster and develop the skill sets that they want to develop without being dependent on parents to shuttle them from place to place and things like that. Having said that, overuse of anything is bad, as it's proven, and after it goes beyond a certain limits, then it is very difficult to pull the child back. So I think in terms of technology, I feel parents do play a significant role here. As you had mentioned earlier, role modeling is very important. Like when we are talking to the child while chatting on the WhatsApp or watching YouTube or like Instagram reels, then the child is also going to communicate to us in the same fashion. So creating no gadget zones, or having dinner without any other distraction. These are simple things that we can incorporate as family culture or family tradition. And if we start early on, I think they just become an integral part of the child's upbringing. And when it comes to technology, when they become teenagers, they will be little more conscious about choosing wisely.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's a process. It needs to start early. And it's not perfect. I won't say that you will not get it. Even after trying all of this, you won't get into a situation where child is spending a lot of time on the internet. It will happen. You will just have to have very firm, consistent consequences for that. And then as the children grow a little older, they can put together the reasons why parents are saying certain things or doing certain things, and they are able to make their own choices at that point.
Mm-hmm. That's so true, Deepti. So I would like to ask you, what do you think? What should be the correct age for children to get into this, to consult a coach? Or is it the parents who should be putting a child under the supervision of someone who have been there and done that? What do you think? Is it child's particular age or is it the parents?
So there are a couple of pointers here which I want to highlight based on my conversation. Many a times, parents are not sure why my child needs a coach or a mentor when I myself are open to discussion. I'm available. I'm spending time. So what we need to understand is it's not you as a person, is the relationship. Like parent cannot completely fill the role of the mentor, because there are always some biases which are very natural. So, mentoring needs to be done from a completely unbiased perspective and from a person who is not at all in the picture of your day to day activities and struggles. Like that, then only that person is able to provide some unbiased perspective. I'm very sure you would agree to this, that when you are coaching and mentoring, you are able to do that because you are not in the thick of the problem, you are completely outside.
Correct.
So, I feel that first parents need to accept
Mm-hmm.
that mentor's role is not replacing a parent or a teacher. Mentor is going to be a complementary role, and all of us have the same goal in mind where we are helping the child. So, coming back to the age question, I feel that ninth and 10th graders, and that at least from my perspective, since I work with teenagers, I like to work with 15 onwards. And 15, 16, many a times parents have to take that step because the child is just not aware where he or she might need help. Like they are struggling in academics, or they are not able to make career choices, or as you said, they are not able to manage time and spending way too much time on gadgets. All of these don't seem to be big issues to the child at that age. So that's where parents have to take the steps. Once the children are in the higher grades, in the high school, then they can make that decision and say that, okay, I would like to take mentoring from some expert in such and such field so that I can plan my career better, or I can take various perspectives into account. So it goes, both categories can work depending on the age of the child.
Okay. So, Deepti, I would like to ask you, therefore, the general public who is watching this show, who are your prospects? Would you prefer the children or would you prefer the parents of those children? Because a lot of times we try to indulge into so much things that is unwanted, that are unwanted to for the children. And when you rightly said, when it comes from third party perspective, it comes as unbiased. So would you do you think that first the parents needs to have that education, that's when we need to approach the child?
Um, yes, when the children are very young, parents need to be really need to think through their philosophy and what are the three critical things or four critical things that they absolutely cannot compromise on, and put set up the family culture in that way and communicate it to the child from early on. If you keep doing that, say that when the child is like 7, 8, 9 years old, then that kind of becomes the value system for that family, and the children accept that better. So I think, of course, parents will have to start first. Then only we can see the change in the children. But when you're talking about coaching and mentoring, I think these two are separate threads. Like for children, I will be focusing more on decision making and career choices and career clarity, academic
Decision.
performance improvement. And yeah, and then for parents, it is mainly on how to make your child autonomous, because I think that is very critical in today's time and age. Children are stepping out of the house at much earlier age compared to what it used to be. And obviously, as a parent, you're always worried because we see examples, we read news, and we know what all goes around the world, and then we are worried about our children. So building that autonomy in our children and having that confidence that the child is ready to navigate on its own, that does take time. So my focus with parenting is clear communication and building autonomy in children.
Yeah, that's so true, Deepti. That's very insightful for parents as well, because here we are not talking about coaching perspective. Here we are talking about guiding the students to correct the to choose the correct path of life. So that is important. And I'll just share a story. You know, there is a female. I know the female because of the child, right? So this female, whenever she is talking to the child, she's always on mobile. You know, she's working somewhere. Whenever she's coming, she's always on mobile, and even while talking to the child, she's on mobile, maybe WhatsApping or on LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever crap, right? But she's always on mobile, and then whenever she talks to the child over the phone or when they are inside together, she talks about integrity, empathy, and compassion. And the child knows these three words so intensely that whenever is telling the child, I'll tell you one thing, what today is empathy or integrity or compassion. That's how child makes a fun of us in front of, you know, it's embedded in his mind that this lady doesn't follow what she's talking, and she has been telling me about integrity, empathy, and compassion, you know. So and whenever this with this father, so he is attached to the father, but this mother is not able to understand what she is doing and where is the need to, you know, improvise on herself first, and then come from a point wherein you are trying to teach someone something which you are not, you know, we talk about talk the path and walk the path. So don't just talk the path, you need to walk the path. Show them that this is what you expect them to do. That's where all these comes into picture. So I can understand your perspective. For parents, it's different thing altogether. For children, it's different altogether. It's about the career choices, the decision making, the power of clarity, all these things. And I think that's what you excel on, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So
I
Deepti,
think so. And based on my experience, I think that that is the crux of the problem and as well as the solution. So I'm strongly advocating these two things in teenagers.
mm-hmm. Okay, so Deepti, my important question is, if people watching this episode of ours, if they want to find you, what is the way and how to find you if they want to put their child into under your supervision or guidance or mentorship, where what is the way to find you?
So my LinkedIn profile has all the details needed, and by going on LinkedIn, they can definitely get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to help.
Sure. And before we apart, if you could give one piece of advice to every teenager listening to this in this world, what would it be?
So one advice will be, whenever you are making any kind of decision, think twice,
Oh, wow.
because every time I feel children tend to make wrong decisions. The decisions are made in a hurry, and consequences are not considered. So I'm not telling teenagers to think about the decision from what mom will say, dad will say, or whether it's right or wrong. I'm telling them or requesting them to think about the consequences, repercussions of that decision. May it be academic, may it be drinking, substance abuse, relationships, whatever it might be, you are making a decision, about to make a decision. Make a decision, take a step back, and think about the decision again, and then move forward. I think that will help you avoid the critical mistakes in your path.
That's wonderful, Deepti. So I enjoyed the conversation, and I'm sure the people watching this episode will try to reach up to you. All right. And I would say all the parents who think that they need some sort of guidance, or even if they don't think they need any guidance, but they can feel a friction with the child, or if they feel that child is not listening, or if the child is occupied into too much unnecessary things, Deepti Thakkar is your go-to person. And if you think you have an adult child who is 14, 15 and above, definitely reach out to Deepti. So Deepti, thanks a lot. I'm overwhelmed that you are here today and talking to me and sharing your insights on parenting and how to coach children. That's important.
It was a wonderful conversation. I really appreciate interacting with you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Deepti. And for all of you watching this episode, stay tuned for more episodes of Expert Ed series. Until next time, keep growing, keep challenging yourself, and keep breaking boundaries. This is Jyoti Pandey, your go-to career coach.